natural approach. So fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the trip.
The 1980s for a natural approach, and with it, linguist Stephen Krashen's seminal views on how languages are learned. Krashen claimed that language learning is a subconscious process of acquisition. Only exposure to language we understand, comprehensible input, can activate this acquisition process. The natural approach was originally formulated in 1977 by Terrell, a Spanish teacher in California, who wished to develop a style of teaching based on the findings of naturalistic studies of second language acquisition. After the original formulation, Terrell worked with Krashen to further develop the theoretical aspect of the method. Terrell and Krashen published the results of their collaboration in the 1983 book, The Natural Approach.
To begin my presentation this afternoon by talking about what I think is the most important issue in language education, the most important question, and that is, how do we acquire language? And I'd like to begin this discussion, this presentation, with an outrageous statement. In my opinion, we all acquire language the same way. The reason this is an outrageous thing to say is that these days in education, we're living in an age of individual variation. We're very concerned about how our students are different, not how our students are the same. Those who've been around in the field for a while remember, about 15, 20 years ago, people were very concerned about something called field-dependent learners and field-independent learners. You give people a certain test, and one group gets this treatment, one group gets the other. Then about 15 years ago, it was left side of the brain, right side of the brain. Some people are left hemisphere thinkers, some people are right hemisphere. Then about 10 years ago, cognitive style. The cognitive style of the home culture differs from the cognitive style of the school culture. We have a clash, etc. Well, each of the examples I gave you is probably correct. There is individual variation, and there is quite a bit of it. Nevertheless, there are some things, some of you speak, and you can tell me which of these two very brief lessons you like better. Here's lesson number 1. Wir werden jetzt anfangen, Deutsch zu lernen. Und ich möchte im Voraus sagen, dass nach meiner Meinung Deutsch ist eine sehr schöne Sprache. Und ich hoffe, dass Sie alle sehr viel Erfolg mit Deutsch haben werden. What do you think? Good lesson so far? Do you think if I kept talking to you like that, you'd pick up German? Not very likely. How about if I repeated it? Would that help? Probably not. How about if I said it louder? Would that help? Probably not. How about if I said it and you repeated it back? Again, I don't think that would help. How about if I wrote it out for you and you could see it on your television screen? That wouldn't help either. How about if I wrote it out for you and you copied it down? How about if I wrote it out for you and deleted every 5th word and you tried to guess what the word is? The truth is that none of these things help. None of these things mean anything, and I hope you can see that now. Here's lesson number 2. And for this, you have to watch me carefully. Das ist meine Hand. Verstehen Sie das? Hand? Everyone say, ja, I can hear you, even though it's a TV audience. Good. Kopf. Das ist mein Kopf. Verstehen Sie Kopf? Ja? Gut. Kopf. And here I'll draw a picture now. Kopf. Ist gut, ja? Schön. Kopf. Das ist Mr. Spock, ja? Mr. Spock hat 2 Ohren. Ohren. Verstehen Sie Ohren? Er hat 2 Ohren. Okay, Mr. Spock. Ja? Ach, nein. Entschuldigung. Okay. Augen. Verstehen Sie Augen? Augen. Wie viele Augen? 1, 2, 3 Augen. 3 Augen. Ist das richtig? 3 Augen? Nein. Wir haben nur 2 Augen. Mund. Verstehen Sie Mund? Und hier ist eine Zigarette, ja? Nein. Zigaretten sind nicht gut. If you understood lesson number 2, not every word, but more or less, I did everything necessary to teach you German. And now I'm going to share with you the most important thing I have learned about language. Probably the best kept secret in the profession. We acquire language in one way and only one way, when we understand messages. We call this comprehensible.
Features of a natural approach. The goal of the approach is aimed at the goal of basic personal communication skills, conversations, shopping, listening to the radio. The teacher needs to focus on meaning, not on form. The teacher does not correct errors. The most noteworthy feature is its advocacy of a silent period, where pre-production can begin. The silent period encourages the delay of oral production until speech emerges. The natural approach encourages the teacher not to insist that learners speak right away. The natural approach blends well with things like TPR, which builds the learner's language ego and does not force them into risk-taking situations which could embarrass them. Strengths and weaknesses of the natural approach. Its strengths seem to be the avoidance of risk-taking activities that could damage our learner's language ego and develop negative mindsets toward the target language. Therefore, the natural approach excels in building a safe environment for the learners, which may be beneficial in the end for ultimate language acquisition. However, the natural approach has serious flaws. Because it focuses on the emergence of language, which is a moment that will differ for each learner, it may be difficult for the teacher to manage an entire classroom. Furthermore, there is a question about how exactly the learner will discern the grammatical structures of the language without direct instruction. Differences between audiolingual and natural approach. The audiolingual method didn't focus on teaching vocabulary. Rather, the teacher drilled students in the use of grammar. The structure will present the correct model of a sentence and the students would have to repeat it. Students have little or no control on their own learning.